Welcome back to FM Story. We're about to embark on season 8 of our save with Sporting. The players have finally had their pre-season training that they didn't get before the Club World Cup. Hopefully we're fresh and ready to go into the season. We have won the league the last 6 seasons, so hopefully we can maintain that run and also put in another good run in the Champions League. We got to the semi-final last year. We won it the year before, so hopefully we can get at least as far as the semi-final again this year. And before we do get started, if you do enjoy the video, let us know in the comments, hit that subscribe button, hit that like button, and without further ado, let's get going. We've made it to the beginning of the season, so our opening game is the Supertaca against Estrela Amadora, who we beat in the cup final last season. Looking at the upcoming fixtures, we've got a reasonable start to the season. We don't play any of Porto or Benfica early on. So hopefully we can get off to a good start and put us in a good position before we get to those games. In terms of transfers, nothing really major has happened in terms of the incomings. In terms of the outgoings, Hidemaster Marita's left to go to Atletico for 4.3 million. In the end, he wanted to go, he wanted a new challenge, and really we weren't going to be playing him this season, so he's gone. Marcus Edwards went to Real Sociedad for 10.5 million. Again, wanted a new challenge. We weren't going to be picking him. It made sense to get the money for him. In terms of incomings, really wants for the future. First one, Alberto Roldan. Very expensive deal for someone for the future. But there's always the likelihood that in the next season or two, Guilherme Santos is going to move on. And we kind of hope that he can fit into that defensive midfield role sort of long term. We're looking at him going out on loan this season as well, just to get some experience, get some match time, and look to see if we can boost some of these attributes. But I mean, he is looking at a 4.5-star potential player, so hopefully that one pays off. Although it was a lot of money to spend on someone who really hasn't played at any kind of level yet. The next player we signed was Mohamed El Sahib, 18-year-old Sudanese defensive midfielder, can play at the back as well. Got some good technicals in terms of that potential defensive role, or the defensive midfield role. The mentors in terms of bravery and determination, teamwork, and some decent physicals as well. Really a one for the future. Certainly not going to be involved in the first team in the next couple of seasons, I don't think. But he either develops and comes into the first team in a while, or we move him on, and I'm sure we'll probably be able to get more than what we paid for him if we do that. And then the only other signing we've made so far this summer, 19-year-old midfielder from South Africa, Jackie Adams. Probably we're looking more at him in terms of the number 10 role. I mean, first touch, passing really good, technique really good, can finish and can dribble as well. So it would seem perfect for that kind of role. Some decent mentors and some decent physicals as well. Not particularly great in the air, but that's not what he would be in the team for right at any point anyway. And he's sort of a 3.5-star potential player, which is actually on a par with, well, it's better than some of the players we've actually got, if you know what I mean, that can play in that role. So again, another one. Hopefully he can develop for the future. I mean, we signed him for 500,000. He's now already worth 7 or 8.8 million. So he's going to go out on loan as well this season, just to get some first team football. We have sent quite a few players out on loan that just need first team football just to keep ticking over and improve. Probably the biggest name of the ones that we sent out on loan was Ruben Alonso, who came in so well last season and scored some big goals, particularly in the Champions League. Don't think he's ready to be like the number 1 centre forward, so we've sent him out on loan to get some game time, and we'll use Thiago Tomas, Korowas and Chamiti in that role this season, and then obviously we'll have a look at everything next season and see who needs to go out from there. In terms of the season preview, we're big odds-on favourites for the title. We've got 10 of the 11, Media Dream 11 as well. So things are looking pretty good. Obviously, we just need to We just need to start the season well. The one slight concern, obviously, is we signed Kane and Son the other season. They are getting on a bit. They're certainly not going to be able to play every game. We just need to make sure that they don't drop off in terms of their ability too much, that they're not worth their place in the team. But other than sort of those two, the team's and maybe Musso in goal, the rest of the team's pretty young and should, as long as we don't have to sell them, as long as they don't force their way out, we've got the nucleus of a team for the next sort of 5 years or so here, and hopefully we can just keep kicking on. Let's just see what they expect our team to be for the season. Almost. I mean, the one thing, Simovic isn't going to play centre half at 5'6". He's probably going to play left back or in one of those defensive midfield roles. Balde is going to play left back or wide left. Largely, it's pretty close to what we're going to play. It just depends who we play through the middle, whether it's Chimiti, whether it's Thomas, whether it's Kane, whether it's Korowas. But that's certainly what we're looking at to start the season. We obviously do have the option to have different formations if and when we choose, but everything's looking positive. Pre-season wasn't great, but the real stuff starts now with Supertaca. Going into the Supertaca, we're trying a couple of things. We're going with Korowas on the right hand side. We're going with Ardagula in the number 10 role. We pushed Harry Kane forward into the number 9 role. Guillaume Santos picked up an injury during pre-season. He's going to start from the bench, and Simovic has come into the defensive midfield role, which means Balde is playing left back, and we've got Thiago Thomas playing on that left-hand side. Otherwise, it's the same sort of first-choice team that we had in the whole of last season. Hopefully we can get off to a decent start and pick up another Supertaca. So they've got the ball at the back. Can we press them? Well, they've managed to get out. Ruot wins the header. Balde, long ball. Korowas has got on the end of it. He's in the box. Not a particularly exciting first half, only that one set of highlights to see. We've dominated possession but haven't really created an awful lot. It might be a case of we move Arda back to the right, Harry Kane back into number 10, and even stick Korowas through the middle and see if that makes a difference. We've made that change that we were talking about in terms of moving players back around, and we've also taken off Thiago Thomas and brought on Heung-min Son. Hopefully that'll provide a bit more of a threat as well. I mean, they've had one shot game, so they're not exactly going out to try and win the game. Ardagula with 3 kick, and it's off the roof. Right, so we made a couple of other changes. We're bringing on Guillaume Santos for Simovic, and we're going to bring on Chimiti through the middle, giving the ball away there. Won it back. Son to Korowas. And we're finally taking the lead just as we're about to take Korowas off. Son driving forward, slides the ball down the side of the centre half. Korowas just fires it across the keeper, and that's 1-0 up. Right, Nianzu looking for Ardagula. Back to Santos, Kane, Sugo. Oh, how did Son miss? I mean, he's offside, but Carlo Estevez to Ruot. Sugo looking for Son, but they've got it. Balde picks up the ball. Sugo. Kane. Chimiti, but I think he looked offside. Obviously not. Sugo just dinked the ball forward. Kane takes a touch, squares it for Chimiti, and he's got an open goal to finish in. Goulet looking for Chimiti. Sugo. Arda. I mean, surely Arda was offside from the first pass. No. He was in acres of space. obviously the defenders on the far side had kept him on because there was no defender anywhere near him on this near side. Poor defending that enabled a poor shot first time. Then the ball comes back to him from a terrible bit of defending. And there we go, another trophy. In the end, the result kind of matches the dominance that we had. But the number of shots we had, we have to be getting more on target. We have to score more goals than that. We have to be punishing teams for not playing well against us. But the trophy, good start to the season. And as I said, when we were looking at what we've done over the summer, we've got a decent start to the season. We need to take advantage of the games against teams that aren't Porto and Benfica and put us in a strong position for when we do come against that. We've made it to the end of September and things have gone reasonably well so far. We've did a bit more business in the transfer window around deadline day. The league has been nothing short of outstanding so far, apart from one match where we struggled. But we've played one game in the Champions League so far, and that was, I don't think a disaster is too harsh a word for it. In terms of the transfer business that we did, the one incoming was signing Pedri on loan from Barcelona for the rest of the season. There is an option to sign him for 65 million during that. And as you can see in the league, he's been pretty decent so far. Champions League less so, but we have only played that one game. In terms of the outgoings, we sent another load of players out on loan. We sold Bruno Mendes to Southampton for 60 million. Now, he only played 4 games in our first team and scored 1 goal. He played 31 games for PSV on loan last season and only scored 6 goals. 60 million seemed just far too much good money to turn down. And if we do look to sign Pedri at the end of, or during his loan or at the end of his loan, it'll go a long way towards us having the fee for that. The other player that left on a permanent deal was Leandro Martinez, who left for Brentford for 25 million, up to 37 million. He was getting a bit antsy about not being in the starting lineup. He wasn't good enough to be in the starting lineup. He probably would have been in the future. But considering we signed him for 5 million, to sell him for 5 times the price, at least, seemed like a good deal. We've got other talented young centre-halves anyway, so hopefully it doesn't come to be too much of a miss. We opened up our Champions League campaign with an absolute disaster of a performance against Man City. We went away to Man City. We have got our hardest games in the Champions League in the first 3 games of, or the first 3 fixtures that we've got. We've got Man City, we've got Barcelona, and then Man United. We just did not perform. It was just, yeah, it was a terrible performance. We lost 5-0. The less said about it, the better. We've played 1 game in the Allianz Cup group stage. We won 2-0 against Gil Vicente. Penalty from Guillaume Santos and a goal from Samuel Maguire on his debut as one of the under-21 players. Really comfortable performance, easy victory. We went into the team really with only Musso, Santos and Asugo from what would be the normal starting lineup. And Asugo and Santos came off once the game was secure, and it gave us a chance to rest everyone else. In terms of the league, we started away at Maritimo. Really strong performance. We didn't get an awful lot out of the players that were playing through the middle in the number 9 role, but everyone else was largely had pretty decent games. We were 3-0 up after half an hour, and then Thiago Thomas added a goal off the bench in the second half. They really didn't threaten that much, and a comfortable victory to start the season off. We were then at home to Estrela Amadora, playing for the second time in 3 games, having played them in the Supertaca, and just destroyed them. We were 3-0 up at half time. Harry Kane completed his hat-trick early in the second half. And then we picked up a couple of goals later on, one from Nunes and then a screamer from Goncalo Esteves from 25 yards. Kept them again to no shots on target and just a clinical performance. We then went away to Portimonense, and it was the one performance in the league where we struggled. I mean, we were 2-0 down after 41 minutes. We pulled a goal back just before half-time. They scored pretty much straight away after the second half, so we had to really pile on the pressure to try and get something from the game. In the end, we got a couple of goals quick together after the hour, and then Thiago Thomas added the fourth, and from that point on, we were fairly comfortable. I mean, they only had 4 shots on target, but scored 3 of them, so we just started the game really badly. The first half we were terrible. Second half we were a lot better. But the most important thing was we came away with a victory. We then went away to Estoril and took an early lead. They pulled one back after 20 minutes, and at that point we hadn't really done an awful lot. We were then able to add 2 goals quickly. Harry Kane and Vasquez just after the half hour, and then we never really looked back. Balde picked up a goal midway through the second half. Korowas had a goal disallowed, and then Son popped up at the end just to put the icing on the cake and make it 5-1. We then went away to Braga, and really it was a pretty nothing game until they picked up a red card. There was not an awful lot of chances for either side. They picked up the red card. We then picked up a goal just before half time with a header from Tanguy Nianzou. And then Pedri and Korowas had goals in the second half just to secure the victory. Again, we weren't really under much threat from them, obviously particularly since they went out at 10 men. And we just did enough to be able to come away with a comfortable victory. And then the most recent league game, we went away to Chavez, and we weren't under any real threat. I mean, they only had 3 shots and didn't put any on target. The first half, we had loads of shots and none of them on target. Second half, we turned it on a bit, but it was very much a case of where's the goal going to come from. We had a goal disallowed from Arda Güler. Harry Kane picked up a knock. It's going to keep him up for a couple of weeks. And then once we got the opening goal through Dario Asugo, the floodgates kind of opened, and we added another 2 before full time. It was a dominant performance. The victory probably looks a bit more comfortable than it probably was, just in terms of how long it did take us to break the deadlock. But in the end, we came away with a victory. We still got a 100% record in the league. As far as the league's concerned, we've got 6 wins from 6. We're already 4 points clear at the top of Porto and Rio Ave. Benfica have only got 13 points. So things are going really well so far. Rio Ave probably the surprise team up there at the top. But they do have one of our young players that came through our intake a couple of seasons ago, Victor Gabriel Herdy, Brazilian centre forward, who I think has got 4 goals already this season. So he's doing a lot to prove that he should be in the reckoning when he comes back at the end of the season. But obviously, like Harry Kane's got 6, although he's picked up that injury. Pedri and Balde are performing well. Güler and Balde have got the most assists. Güler's already got 7 assists in 6 games. Juan Misso's got 4 clean sheets. The only games we've conceded in were the Portimonense game where we conceded 3, where we didn't really start very well, and the Estoril game where we conceded 1 but scored 5. We've already got a plus 21 goal difference. Things are looking pretty good league-wise. We just now need to take that league form into the Champions League. Like I say, that performance against Man City was abysmal. We've got Barcelona up next, and then we've got Man United in the next Champions League game, so we need to be much, much better going into those 2 games. Going into the game against Barcelona, we're missing Harry Kane because he's picked up that knock that we mentioned. Not ready to start, but he failed a fitness test. So Thiago Thomas is playing through the middle. We've got Pedri playing in the number 10 role against a club that owns him. We've got Balde playing against the former club as well. So hopefully we can put a decent performance form and a better performance than we did when we were away at Man City in the first game of the league. Right, Simovic has already been booked. That's a bad sign. Baldi into Pedri. Oh, doing a great start. Thomas was nearly on that one. Oh, he's nicked it back. Ardagula back to Thomas. And that is a much, much better start than we had against Man City. I mean, it would be hard to be any worse than that. But Asugo's pressure. Thiago Thomas picked up on loose ball. Into Gula, back to Thomas. Lovely first touch. And then just slides it past the keeper. Right, Gula with the corner. He's looking for Nyanzi at the back post, but it was headed clear. Santos picks up the ball and forces the keeper into a good save. So, all in all, we've been fairly dominant in that half. For most possession, we've had 16 shots, 24 on target. But like, if you look at the player ratings, half the team haven't played well at all. We're going to need to be better in the second half to hang on to this lead. Son to take the corner this time. Look at Nyanzi at the back post. And there we go. That's 2-0 up and a bit more comfortable now. Nyanzi rising above the defender, heads it back across goal into the corner. Musso goes long goal kick. They've won the header. The left back's bringing it forward. Gula gets there, tracks the run, nick the ball back. Rewalt back to Gula. Sugo into Korowas, who gives the ball away. And now we're just inviting on. Augusto Andre, ball up there. Rastev. Estevez gets there, he's in the box. I don't know whether the keeper saved that or whether it came off the post, but he just basically hit Korowas and went in, I think. So Krastev played it wide to Estevez. It was one of those balls where he thought it was a bit on the weak side, but he got in there. It's hit the post, and then Korowas just is there to turn the rebound in. And there we go, full time. A thoroughly dominant and deserved win. We were much better in the second half than we were in the first half. And we've come away with a 3-0 victory, which goes some way to making up amends for having lost 5-0 to Man City in the open game. As we said, we've got Man United in the next game, so definitely the 3 hardest games we've got are the 3 first games. If we can pick up a result against Man United, it puts us in a good place to hopefully end with quite a high total in this Champions League phase. And that's the end of another episode. Great start to the season, especially in the league. I mean, we've won 6 from 6. We've won the Supertaca, and we've managed to get our Champions League form back on track. So hopefully we can continue this on. Obviously, we started the season with pretty easy games. We didn't have Benfica or Porto early on like we had in most of the season so far. So we just need to take advantage of these fixtures and put ourselves in a decent position. We're already 4 points clear, but we need to put ourselves in a decent position for when we do come up against Porto and Benfica in the league. And thanks for watching, and we'll see you next time.